Today, we are attempting to make the world's most expensive fish sandwich using some ingredients that are pretty common to a fish sandwich and then some other premium ingredients that arguably should never be put on a fish sandwich. Let's get into it. I saw a ton last year on social media about this restaurant out in LA that was making a $90 fish sandwich. And as somebody who fishes a lot and makes a ton of catch and cooks, sounded very interesting to me. The one thing that made it very expensive was the fact that it had caviar in the tartar sauce. I've had caviar before, but never on a fish sandwich, so figured why not go ahead and try it. We're starting a little bit behind the 8 ball because the fish that we're using is something that we already caught, so we didn't have to pay for it. So to try and make something over $90, we had to go a little bit bigger. So we have a catfish that we had caught on a recent trip. We'll be using that. We have caviar that I ended up buying online. That by itself was $100. I don't know if we'll use all of it, but $100 of caviar is not a ton, so we might use a fair amount of it. We have some typical ingredients to make the tartar sauce like I normally do. We have some Wagyu tallow that we're going to go ahead and fry it in. Love Wagyu tallow. We'll be doing that. And then just to be even more absurd, we have some gold leaf to top it off. So all said and done, this is probably close to $30 sandwich. It better be good. We will be doing a review at the end to give my final opinion. My initial is that it's not at all going to be worth it, but why not try it? Let's get into it. So these are my typical ingredients for a tartar sauce. I will occasionally use capers in there, but seeing how we have the caviar that's going to add some of that umami and saltiness, I figured it would be very similar textures that it would kind of detract away from our star, which is our caviar. So we're going to leave that out today. But otherwise, I typically use Japanese mayo. If you've never used Japanese mayo, by all means, you should try it. My opinion, by far the best mayonnaise out there. Along with that, we're going to use a little bit of pickles just for some crunch, some dill, and then a little bit of lemon juice with some zest. Let's throw it all together. We will be adding the caviar at the very end. I don't want anything to happen to it, mixing it with, some lemon juice and whatnot. So that will be the last thing that we do before we end up plating everything. So into a bowl, you just go ahead and throw in some Japanese mayonnaise, a little bit of pickle, a little bit of dill, some lemon zest, and a little squeeze of lemon, and you're ready to go. And now we'll just mix it all up. And it might not look like much, but this is an absolutely phenomenal tartar sauce by itself, if nothing else. We'll use some salt and pepper to taste. With us using caviar, you don't really ever want to use metal because it can taint the flavor of the caviar. When we're putting it on a fish sandwich, I don't think it matters as much. But again, when we start mixing stuff with the caviar, we will use the mother of pearl spoon. But this is absolutely phenomenal. So, done with that, let's get our fish ready to go into our pan and get cooking. Since we are doing an expensive catch and cook with premium ingredients, figured why not go ahead and cook with fancy stuff too. So we got the Finex cast iron pan out, and we're going to be frying our fish in Wagyu tallow. This stuff is incredibly good. I actually use this for everyday cooking, whether I'm making steaks or other foods that need some sort of oil or fat to it. I think you can buy this on Amazon for like $30-ish. I would highly recommend this if you've never tried it. All right, while our oil is heating up, so we just have our catfish in a little bit of an egg wash, and then we're going to go ahead and put it in our breading, which is the catch and cook. I haven't ever used this one before. I've got high hopes for it. I've wanted to get it for a long time, and it's not very easy to find. So hopefully this is good. But we'll go ahead and just dredge this guy. Get a nice even coating. So it's all crispy, crunchy, golden. Pour some on top. They're evenly coated, and That should be good. We'll dump off the excess, and once our oil is ready, we will drop her in. All right, make sure the oil is hot. Looks like we are going to sizzle. Let's drop her in there. Perfect. Time for that flip. Perfectly golden brown. And check her out. Perfect. I did have to check the package on that catch and cook because it almost reminds me of a cornmeal, and there is some cornmeal in that catch and cook, which is going to lend itself really, really well to catfish. So we'll go ahead and let this rest and start assembling our sandwich. And we have to have some sort of vessel to eat this sandwich on, obviously. So we got our best brioche buns that we have over at our Aldi's. Love Aldi's, shout out to them. And we are going to go ahead and butter it with some Kerrygold. Again, nothing better to go ahead and get that buttery crust on there, and then we will be ready to assemble. Now for the star of today is our caviar. Again, we'll go ahead and mix it with the mother of pearl spoon just so it doesn't change the flavor, because metal can. In all honesty, will it matter today? Probably not, because we're mixing with a bunch of other stuff. But I do want to taste it before we essentially destroy it. So we'll go ahead and pop this open. Plug in a knife. All right, we had to get a knife to open this guy, and this is what $100 of caviar looks like. It looks really good. There don't seem to be any broken eggs or anything else like that. Let's try just a little bit. That's actually really good. If you've never had caviar before, it's kind of creamy, a little bit of salty, briny, kind of umami flavor. It's incredibly, incredibly good. It's a little bit of a shame that we're going to destroy it, putting it in our tartar sauce, but for the sake of trying something new and some science, let's do it. Let's see how much half of this looks like. Not very much. So yeah, we're probably just going to use the whole thing. Again, I got this on online for right about, I think it was right at $100. So again, this will be a probably $130 sandwich after we add our ridiculous amount of gold leaf. But let's just rip the band-aid off and go for it. We'll clean out that tin. We won't leave anything to waste. And there we go. That is our tartar sauce. Let's go ahead and assemble our sandwich. Try it out and see what we think. We're going to put just a little bit of lettuce, and I do mean just a very, very little amount right on the bottom, just for a little bit of texture. We won't put it on top because that's where we are putting our gold leaf. Go ahead and put our perfect piece of catfish. And then we'll have to go ahead and put on our gold leaf. Each sheet of this is like $5, which again, I would never recommend people to do this. Gold leaf's not going to add any sort of flavor to it at all. It's purely for the fact of show and luxury, I guess. But this isn't stuff you really want to touch. So we're going to go out, get our food tweezers and go ahead and layer it on. Stuff is, again, super fragile. Pretty difficult to work with. And because we are pretty amateur hour, we will probably use all these to try and cover an area that 3 probably would have been enough. There we go. And now just to put on our tartar sauce. Again, we will not waste a single bit of this. But for the sake of time, there we go. That is the world's most expensive fish sandwich. It looks absolutely absurd. Now we have to go ahead and try it. All right. We've made it. Let's try it. I hope I'm not wildly disappointed that we wasted a lot of money. That is actually insanely good. Very, very good. Is it worth how much we paid for it? I don't think so. If you told me this was $15 or $20, insanely worth it. But knowing how much we spent, and I'm going to go ahead and say purely between the caviar, the gold leaf, if you have to buy the Wagyu tallow, that's another like $30, so you're looking at $160 just to buy the stuff. Obviously, we don't use all the Wagyu tallow, but all of the components to this individual sandwich probably cost, I would say, $140. Nowhere close. The sandwich by itself, just rating it, I would give it a solid 8.5. Solid 8.5. Knowing how much it cost, probably like a 4, 4.5, like maybe. Definitely not worth it. Inevitably, I'm sure somebody at some point in time will best this, and I'm sure there'll be somebody that makes a much more expensive sandwich. In all honesty, I was surprised that the most expensive fish sandwich was $90, because I've seen so many different restaurants that have like absurdly expensive things that you would think that, you know, somebody out there would have had a $300-400 sandwich easy. But yeah, it's good. I wouldn't suggest doing it though. Save your money, do something else, buy a bunch of fish and lures, anything else, to be honest. But as always, if you guys like the video, if you wouldn't mind liking, and if you want to see more videos like this, I'll probably do some more cooking videos at some point in time in the future. I love cooking, but majority of what I do is fishing. If you want to see something else, by all means, comment in the comment section below. I appreciate it. Till next one.